Good morning, everyone. It is Friday. We only have 50 more weeks to go, you guys. We're on week 2. Good morning, Eris. Thank you for doing all the modly things. Good morning, Reindeer and Greedy Bloke and JKD Buck and everyone watching on Rumble. Thank you so much. I am working on learning how to do the rumbling things, which, let's be very honest. I am only as good as my lack of tech skills are, and that is not saying much. But our first story is fairly, well, sad, but what are you going to do? It's a fairly big story. Michael Strahan, who is, I think, a host of Good Morning America, or he used to be a host. To be very honest, I do not watch Good Morning America because I do my own Good Morning America, which is much better, to be honest with you. No, I'm just kidding. Good morning, excited utterance. I can't wait for Ruby Day. Gypsy Rose. I don't know if we'll see Gypsy or Ruby or a little bit of both, but I am excited and I have a wig, which, I mean, when do I not? Michael Strahan's daughter Isabella is battling a malignant tumor known as medulloblastoma. An MRI scan led to the diagnosis October 23rd, or 2023, sorry. Yeah, it's no longer Friday, it is Fire D-Day. Just for today, because, um, what was it? Victor and Nick both possess. Why must I always see this woman's feet? You know what, New York Post? I will fine you every time I have to see this woman's ridiculous feet on these freaking videos that have nothing to do with the article. Medulloblastoma is a fast-growing cancerous brain tumor that develops in the cerebellum. Then why are we calling it medulloblastoma if it's not at all related to the medulla oblongata, which we all know from Waterboy makes the alligators cranky? Not because they don't have no teeth brushes. Come on, that was the best movie ever. That develops in the cerebellum at the back of the brain where movement and coordination are controlled. The father-daughter pair are revealed the emotional news during a Good Morning America segment with Robin Roberts on Thursday. Good Morning AC's Wildflower. Quote, today my daughter at Isabel Strahan joined at Robin Roberts and myself for an interview about the journey she is going through today on Good Morning America. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe Robin Roberts had her own battle with cancer fairly recently in the past. I love you, Isabella, and I'm always at your side to send love, and we thank you from the bottom of our hearts. I will say there are some things going on in my life that I'm not sharing right now and probably won't share online. But to watch a child you love, to watch a child that you care for and have cared for a long time, to battle and deal with something that you can't fix as a parent is heartbreaking, is terrifying, and I don't wish this on anyone. I fully hope that she recovers, that they can figure this out. I can't imagine the terror, the pain, the just worry that they're all going through. During a sit-down, the University of Southern California freshman revealed that it has been, quote, 2 months of keeping it quiet, which has been difficult. Isabella noted that she doesn't want to hide her journey anymore and didn't notice anything was off until probably October the 1st. That's when I definitely noticed headaches, nausea, and couldn't walk straight, she said. One morning she notified her family that she was throwing up blood. After undergoing a battery of tests, including an MRI, she learned of a fast-growing 4-centimeter tumor that was larger than a golf ball after being rushed to Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in LA. And then to do this all when you are a college freshman, probably your first time away from school or away from your parents, You're just getting that first taste of freedom. And to find all of this out, you might not be with your parents, you're just in a hospital room. It's a very sad situation for all of them. The TV personality 52 received the news before his daughter. Quote, I don't remember much, he said. I remember trying to figure out how to get to LA ASAP, and it still doesn't feel real. It just doesn't feel real. She underwent brain surgery late October, followed by rehabilitation and 6 weeks of radiation treatment. In February, she will begin chemotherapy at Duke University, which her twin sister Sophia attends. I'm feeling good, not too bad. I'm very excited for this whole process to wrap up, but you just have to keep living every day through the whole thing, she explained. Good morning, Billy Marie and JK Debuck and Greedy Bloke. In case I didn't say good morning to you, or if I'm saying it again, it's Mo. You never know. I'll say it again. The model who recently launched a campaign with Sephora is creating a YouTube series to document her experience in partnership with Duke Children's Hospital and Health Center. With my platform, I hope to kind of be a voice, to be a person who people maybe who are going through the same thing or something similar, going through chemotherapy or radiation, can look at and just hear and watch, or find something interesting about their day, she said. I'm just excited for that. Strahan, for his part, wasn't sure at first if Isabella wanted to share her story. This is something that just is so personal, he told Roberts, who was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2007. Okay, I was right. Look, y'all, I am telling you, some days having to be on medication where you used to be able to remember things, random tidbits all the time and names and dates and things like that. And now you can't remember basic things sometimes. I'm glad I remembered that this woman was battling cancer. But Roberts, who was diagnosed with cancer in 2007, but this was her idea. Quote, I want to share it. I want to help other people. And that goes into the spirit of who she's always been. Fry is always melting. I don't think, I will tell you guys, he does sleep in his bed normally. I just never catch it on film. I think he knows when he's going to be on, and he decides to ham it up. At one point, when Isabella began to get emotional, her dad would say, you're allowed to cry. I know she's going through it, but I know that we're never given more than we can handle, he went on. She's going to crush this. I know this has been tough, but you keep living, Isabella, he said. We love you, and we're here for you. You've got this. So, they're beautiful girls, and I really hope that she gets through this. She gets, found cancer-free and everything like that. The former athlete watched the pre-recorded interview with Roberts and further opened up about the health scare in ABC studio on Thursday. Quote, it's hard for me to even watch that. You hope your kids will never experience any kind of pain, he said. We are there to make sure she has the love and support she needs. I'm thankful that you allowed her to share her story. Robin, I appreciate you for making her feel comfortable. The health news comes after Strahan was mysteriously absent from the Good Morning America crew for 3 weeks for personal family matters. He made his return November 15th, but never explained his hiatus at the time. Good morning, Spirit Matter. The TV personality shares Isabella and Sophia with his second ex-wife, Jean Mugley. He also is a dad to daughter Tatiana, 32, and son Michael Jr., 29, whom he shares with his first wife, Wanda Hutchins. So I do hope the family the best. I do hope that she comes out of this with flying colors and they were able to get everything and, she can resume her life. Now get your bingo cards out, you guys, because who had Gary Busey peeing in public? Who had Gary Busey peeing in public in a Sherpa jacket? 2024, y'all. I'm just saying. Good morning, Aaron Olivia. Gary Busey stares at paparazzis as he pulls down his pants and seems to relieve himself in public. 2024, you glorious bastard. You shine like a crazy diamond, you. Never change. You know, Gary Busey, you just go on being Gary. Gary Busey has done it again. The actor, 79, dropped his pants in public to seemingly relieve himself into a bush near a well, I was Freudian slip, but near a newsstand, but he might also be there for a booze. Good afternoon, Nicholas Starr. You know, when you gotta go, you gotta go. That's a very big blur. God bless you, Nicholas. Or God bless you, Gary Busey. You've got a large blur there. Gary Busey broke Mo. He scares everyone, Jude. I think. I don't know that this is Chandler Halderson's girlfriend's mom's girlfriend, but I have never seen them both in the same place, so two things could be true at the same time. The grinning point-blank star eventually adjusted his waistband to cover up and walked away with a large spot near his crotch. Aren't you supposed to jiggle and then... Busey completed his casual outfit with a gray t-shirt, matching slippers, a multicolored jacket, a plaid scarf, a white trucker hat, and dark glasses. Why are we discussing his fashion choices, which are what we would see at my local Walmart, with just about 95% of all older men? His reps did not immediately respond to page 6 requests for comments. However, this isn't the actor's first offense. In August 2022, paparazzis photographed Busey sitting on a bench across the street from his Malibu home with his black sweatpants by his knees, looking around with a giant... Look, the man's damn near 80. If he wants to sit down with his schmeckle out, hopefully he would just do it in his backyard. Just kindly remove said old gentleman to his backyard and make him stay there. I mean, it is Gary Busey. Do we expect anything less? I mean, I'm sure the call just goes out. Good morning, Christine, and good morning, Slinky. You know, I mean, at this point, there should just be one officer that is assigned the Gary Busey officer. And, you know... You kindly return said Gary Busey back to his backyard where he can just stay pantsless and schmeckle out, where, you know, he can suntan the old, you know, bait and tackle at his leisure. It's Gary Busey. What are you going to do with the dude? I mean, it's Gary Busey. He seems to be in a jovial mood this time. I mean, what are you going to do? Gary often sits on the bench in front of his home to meditate and look at the ocean, his reps told us at the time. Our only guess is perhaps at his age he realized he couldn't get to the bathroom at the time, which explains what happens on the video with the video of him on the bench. His reps made sure to stress that the bench where the ordeal occurred is located on privately owned property. Well, there you go. I mean, it was, you know, semi in public. Busey's bench fiasco came days after he was charged with 2 counts of criminal sexual contact, 1 count of criminal attempt, and 1 criminal sexual contact, and 1 count of harassment for allegedly groping 2 women at Monster Mania Con in New Jersey. However, he denied the false allegations, insisting that nothing happened with the accusers. He added he had no regrets about the way he behaved at the convention. Okay, some of his... When the actor appeared at the UK version of Celebrity Big Brother in 2014, he got in a dispute with several housemates for pulling his pants down and even being commando in their presence. When my knee popped out on the lateral side, I sit down and restrap the knee, he explained at the time. You haven't been to the doctor, you haven't had a bad knee. You know, having a bad leg, I never have to take off my pants to fix it. But I, again, am not Gary Busey, nor do I ever walk. I think I found my Halloween costume. What? Where is his handler? It's unknown whether Busey's actions stem from mental health issues following a near-fatal motorcycle accident 35 years ago. According to the 2019 Hollywood Reporter profile, the Buddy Holly story star suffered severe damage to the frontal lobe of his brain as a result of the crash, which made him more impulsive and prone to anger and delusions of grandeur. Yes. Well, his son, Jake Busey, lamented at the time, the post-accident version of him turned his personality up to 11. I feel like I lost my dad December 4th, 1988. All joking aside, this person should, Gary Busey should have a handler. He should not be allowed to be, he needs someone. These look like signs of dementia, or at least someone to say, hey, Gary, look, if you're going to have pantsless time, let's keep it in our house. This is a pants-free zone. Everywhere outside of our house on. All right, Gary? Okay. And then, have someone like a pants patroller, and you just stay next to him and you pants patrol. I mean, at this point. In other weirder news, get your bingo card out again. Spiritual leader known as Buddha Boy arrested in Nepal on abuse charges of the bad kind. So if you had religious leader, charged in Nepal, possibly the reincarnation of Buddha, there you go. Controversial spiritual leader whose supporters believe he is the reincarnation of Buddha has been arrested in Nepal over rape allegations, according to local police. Ram Bahadur Bomjan, popularly called Buddha Boy, thank you, local media, was arrested Tuesday while, quote, absconding in the case of sexual exploitation of a minor. Well, this is in Nepal, so I think maybe they didn't have all the tanks they needed. Also, look at their camo is awesome, blue camo. An arrest warrant against him was issued in 2020, according to a statement, in the case of abuse of a minor girl who was allegedly living as a nun in his ashram in the Bara district south of the capital, Kathmandu. CNN was unable to reach Bonjam for comment and was not able to determine if he has a lawyer. Acting on a tip-off, police say they tracked the 34-year-old to the outskirts of Kathmandu and arrested him while he was trying to flee, the statement added. They say they also seized more than a dozen mobile phones, 5 laptops, and tablets. Look, Buddha needs the internet just like the rest of us. I'm just saying. His enlightenedness needs all the internet just like the rest of us. And more than $200,000 in Nepali and foreign currencies in his home. This comes nearly 2 decades after he first gained international attention. In 2005, at the age of 15, he retreated into the jungle to pray for 10 months, local media reported at the time. His followers once claimed that he did so without food, sleep, or water. Okay. Those claims were never independently verified. I wonder why. But it led some to laud him as the reincarnation of Siddhartha Gautama, who was born in Nepal some 2,500 years ago and later became simply known as Buddha, meaning the enlightened one. Bomjan's Buddha Boy moniker helped to further his fame as thousands across the country and neighboring India traveled to see him while he was in the jungle. Bomjam began preaching about 2 years later, attracting an audience of around 3,000 people during his first sermon, according to his website. He and his supporters then set up a network of ashrams around Nepal dedicated to his teachings. I feel some Amshan Rikyo vibes coming off here. And if you guys have never heard of the story of Amshan Rikyo, oh gosh, for the love of all that is Cheetos, Count Dankula does a really good Mad Lads about it. So go listen to it. It is all the crazy. But basically, Japan's worst domestic terror attack. Guy thinks he's the reincarnated Jesus, Buddha, Confucius, and all of the other things together, and decides to unleash sarin in Tokyo's subway. It was terrible. But I'm getting some Amshan Rikyo vibes. In recent years, Bomjam has been dogged by allegations of wrongdoing. His ashram was raided in 2019 while investigating the disappearance of 4 of his followers. Police on Wednesday said, quote, further investigations and searches are being conducted regarding the followers who have disappeared from Bomjam's ashrams at various times. The abuse charges relate to a nun who in 2018 publicly accused him of rape at one of his ashrams when she was a minor. At the time, officials at the Bodhi Sharwan Dharma Sangha, the organization that manages Broham's ashrams, denied the allegations in a news conference, calling them completely made up. So there you have it. This guy apparently needed all the laptops, all the monies, and all the hiding places for enlightenment. You know, call me crazy, but this new Buddha isn't that awesome. I like the older one. These reboots are really getting very shitty, if you ask me. In other news, what the actual hell is going on in our country? Family of second inmate that was dead sent his body with missing organs, including brain. Now, these are only allegations. This is a lawsuit, but holy God, what the hell are we? I know this is a program that was floated, but are we taking organs from our prisoners? I mean, do I have to go full Dale Gribble? What is going on here? Following a complaint that a dead Alabama inmate was missing his heart, a newly released court document made similar allegations in which a dead man was missing organs, including his brain. The first allegation came from a family of Brandon Clayton Dotson, 43, serving a 99-year burglary sentence. He died in custody, and his relatives say they received his body, quote, severely decomposed, because the authorities failed to properly store it. They hired a pathologist to perform a second autopsy, and the doctor discovered that Dotson's body was missing the heart. They sued the federal court last month. Now, the daughter of inmate Charles Edward Singleton, 74, is stepping forward with similar allegations, according to multiple reports. Documents state that after Singleton died in custody of Alabama Departments of Corrections on November 2nd, 2021, the family received his body already, quote, in a notable state of decomposition, and they learned his remains had no organs anymore, according to Birmingham ABC affiliate WBMA-LD. Even the brain was allegedly missing. What in the actual schnell? Well, I mean, there's conjecture and theories going on about that. The family was told after the autopsy, organs are usually put in a bag and returned into the body. I don't. Okay, now I'm even more afraid. I am even more afeared of what they are telling us. According to in their complaint, Dotson's family said no one explained why Dotson's heart was missing. Other families have come forward as well. Dotson's family attorney, Lauren Ferriano, told Law and Crime on Thursday. Law and Crime reached out to the Alabama Department of Corrections for comment on Dotson's death and the lawsuit. Quote, the ADOC does not conduct its own autopsies, and we do not conduct or comment on matters pending litigation, ADOC said in response. You're not wrong. I mean, when Law and Crime reached out to them on Thursday about Singleton's case, they said again that they do not comment on pending litigation and they don't authorize or perform autopsies. Well, then who does? The University of Alabama's Department of Pathology performed the autopsy on Singleton. The Associated Documents reportedly said the organization told WBMALD that they do not comment on pending litigation, but they described their autopsy policy. From their reported statement, we only conduct autopsy with consent or authorization and follow standardized procedures equitably for anyone consented to or authorized for autopsy. The autopsy practice is accredited by the College of American Pathologists and staffed by credentialed physicians who are certified by the American Board of Pathology. In an autopsy, organs and tissues are removed to best determine the cause of death. Autopsy consent includes consent for final disposition of organs and tissues. Unless specifically requested, organs are not returned to the body. Well, that's scary. UAB is among providers that, consistent with Alabama law, conduct autopsies of incarcerated persons at the direction of the state of Alabama. A panel of medical ethicists reviewed and endorsed our protocols regarding autopsies conducted for incarcerated persons. Sued in Dotson's lawsuit, they previously said they had no part in the autopsy and were making the plaintiff attorneys aware. Quote, there was an evidentiary hearing in the Dotson case last week. The Alabama, for the love of all that is holy. Thank God it's Friday. Alabama Department of Corrections told Law and Crime on Thursday the ADOC is currently awaiting the court's decision following that presentation of evidence. Ah. Well, I mean, secondhand is sometimes just as good as firsthand. You'll never tell the difference. I mean, Goodwill stuff is sometimes the greatest stuff you ever find. I mean, look, I got my new What in the Rapture jar of crazy stories that we can go over. Whenever I find a particularly crazy story during the year, it's going in the jar, and then at the end of the year, we'll have a Gary Busey pantsless story definitely going in there. And then at the end of the year, we'll have a mega stream of just me going over the crazy stories in the year. Because, 2024 is trying to pack them all in the first 2 weeks. So I think we'll have plenty to go through. And what is going on with people, and I think this is going to be a lawsuit, but Rochester patient dies 2 weeks after being kicked out of an ambulance and collapsing on a sidewalk. Yeah, duty to care seems to have been lost. Fry, you just want to get out of... Fry's like, I is moved. You did not share any bacon with me. You cooked bacon. You did not share. I am mad at you. A Rochester man suffering from a medical emergency was kicked out of an ambulance and collapsed on the sidewalks in front of paramedics and police before he died. Have people lost their flibbity-gibbet minds? Leaving the city's mayor flabbergasted at the horrifying development. In a nearly 12-minute video, the patient, who has not been identified, is accused of lunging at the paramedics as they transported him to the hospital on November 30th, 2023. The ambulance is seen parked on the side of the road in the city with its lights still flashing as officers arrive. Quote, "I don't know what's wrong with him, but he will not get out of the truck. He has got to go," an EMT tells the officer, according to body cam footage obtained by excuse me, WROC. As the ambulance doors open, the officer tells the patients it's a wrap, and the crew wants him out of the emergency vehicle. The man explained to the officers he couldn't breathe as he grunts and clenches his chest and shoulders. Quote, "We tried to help, honey, but the way that you got in there and jumped at us is no way to ask someone asking for help," the EMT interjects. The officer then demanded he exit the ambulance. "I was freaking out," the man said as he puts his coat on to exit. "You would freak out too if you can't breathe." "I hear you," the officer replied. "I'd probably try to control myself a little better." He was told to wait outside the ambulance for another one to arrive to take him to the hospital. "Will you take me to the hospital, man?" he pleads with the officer, The officer could have cuffed him and taken him to the hospital. I mean, I grant that he wouldn't have been able to medically monitor him, but it is an exigent situation if you have someone that cannot breathe. And now we are going to have another summer, winter of love. Moments after the man complied with the officer's request to leave the ambulance, he collapsed and lay motionless on the sidewalk. Now the EMTs don't do anything. The man was lying face down in front of emergency personnel for more than 2 minutes before anyone helped him. Oh my God, you guys. These assholes. I'm dumbfounded, you guys. Look, because these jerks were absolute numpty muppet idiots, and yes, I am using all sorts of Briticisms, we are going to have marches, and because this is an injustice. Why is this man laying here for 2 minutes? Obviously, he is in need of help. I understand that he was acting aggressive. Look, he was acting like an asshole, okay? But he is obviously in distress now. No one goes to check on man lying passed out. Have we learned nothing from, 2020, the summer of love, that you get a person medical help? The patient died 2 weeks later. Rochester Mayor Malik Evans said in a press conference Thursday. Evans said he was flabbergasted over how the man was treated. Quote, "We must get to the bottom of this," Evans said. "We must understand how and why this occurred. We must identify processes and safeguard to ensure that it doesn't happen again. City residents are people, and they deserve to be treated humanely with the same attention as anyone else. The man's official cause of death has not been disclosed." Evans said the victim's family members shared that the man, quote, "passed away from this health emergency that he had called to get help to address." The ambulance provider, American Medical Response, said it would comply with Evans' request to conduct an internal investigation. Quote, "We viewed the video for the first time yesterday and have launched an internal investigation. We also have requested an investigation by the New York State Department of Health Bureau of EMS and Trauma Systems." The provider said in a statement to ABC 13, Rochester Police Chief David Smith has also called for an internal investigation. Evans shared, quote, even though this wasn't a medical scene, there are lessons to be learned, particularly as it relates to what type of ambulance service or medical service our communities are experiencing. Yes, again, he went from a combative person to a person laying on the ground. At the point that he was laying on the ground and not responsive, that becomes a medical necessity, an exigent emergency again. I can't. For the love of all that is holy. In a similarly related case, and in no way did I actually put these cases together, a convicted killer is, quote, not guaranteed a painless death, unquote. Judge approves first death by suffocation method for upcoming execution. Now, I do remember this being a big thing. I do think they do this over in one of the Nordic countries. I'm not going to offend Nicholas or Baker or anyone else or Fed by trying to remember which exactly Nordic country does the sort of carbon dioxide poisoning kind of euphoric self-deletion pod method, which is uber creepy. If all goes according to the court-ordered plan, it will be a first for the United States when at the end of this month, the state of Alabama, you're not really batting solid home runs here lately. Well, so Canada does have made medically assisted death, but I don't believe they have the hypoxia chambers yet. But I haven't, the whole thing grosses me out in a way, so I haven't looked deeply into it because it's very morbid for a person who delves into the deeply like weird and criminal things that people do to each other. Putting yourself into a hypoxia chamber to shuffle off this mortal coil seems to be a bridge too far for myself, which is weird because generally things don't bother me. Alabama executes Kenneth Eugene Smith by suffocating him to death using nitrogen gas. His face, a partially redacted and only finalized state protocol dictates, will be covered with a mask, pressing flush to the skin. Once confirmed to be in place and double-checked, amid other criteria and finalizations required under law, nitrogen gas will flow into the mask for at least 5 to 15 minutes until it's clear Smith has flatlined on an EKG monitor. Per a 48-page order obtained by Law and Crime from the U.S. District Judge Austin Huffaker in Alabama's Mid-District, Smith is scheduled to die January 25th. Local outlet LA.com notes that the window for his execution is between 2 a.m. that day and 6 a.m. on January 26th. Nitrogen gas, which makes me I am now scared to go to the dentist again. For the love of all that is holy. Alabama, what are you doing? I mean, first you're sending people home without their organs. Now you're gonna hook this guy up to a Kia exhaust. What the hell are you doing? I know that's not what they're doing. Give me the joke. Smith has been on death row since 2006. No, since 1996 for his role in a gory murder-for-hire plot that left a minister's wife dead after a vicious beating and repeating stabbing inside her Alabama home in 1988. Smith confessed to his part in killing Elizabeth Sennett, as reported by Law and Crime late last year. Are you actually gonna... It has happened. That's it. The world is ending. Fry is actually sleeping on his bed. His execution at the end of this month will be the second time the state has tried to impose the death penalty on him. The first attempt via lethal injection failed on November 2022 when the intravenous lines needed for the procedure could not be connected to him properly, and the clock ran out on a warrant to execute him. The state moved ahead with plans to execute him again, but that prompted a lawsuit from Smith. He claimed his experience waiting for the death by lethal injection in the execution chamber the first time was agony. He begged the court, U.S. District Judge Austin Huffaker noted on Wednesday's orders for execution by nitrogen hypoxia as an alternate method. Huffaker told Smith in his order that he believed the inmate asked to be executed this way in the lawsuit because he was trying to delay his punishment as the state worked out its final protocols for the death by nitrogen hypoxia. Once that was done, Huffaker noted Smith then changed course and argued that the method wouldn't be appropriate either. Now that Alabama is prepared to carry out his sentence using the method of execution he has consistently declared he prefers, the circumstances have changed, and what was once highly unlikely is now a certainty. With that change, Smith now seeks to enjoin the defendants from carrying out his death sentence using the protocol, arguing it unconstitutionally superadds pain, that the court should order the defendants to amend it or execute him by firing squad, a relatively uncommon and archaic method. Again, Snake Island is right there, and we could conquer it. It's only inhabited by snakes. Smith's attempts to waylay his execution are understandable, the judge added. It goes without saying that many capital cases come to the federal court system with the primary or sole aim of delaying execution indefinitely. And inherent in many, if not every capital case, is the condemned inmate's goal to altogether avoid his death sentence. It's human, he wrote. I mean, understandable. But in Smith's lawsuit, Alabama's protocol for nitrogen hypoxia, quote, was not yet approved or fully made known, and he was not yet subject to it, the judge added. With that resolved, the judge wrote, there was, quote, simply not enough evidence to find with any degree of certainty or likelihood that execution by nitrogen hypoxia under the protocol is substantially likely to cause Smith superadded pain. I guess someone's going to have to be the guinea pig. All right, Johnson, you're up. Oh my gosh. Attorney for Smith, Robert Grass, was not immediately able to return a request for comment. Historically, Smith's attorneys have called the protocols cruel and unusual, but Huffaker also addressed this in order. Smith was unable to show how this method of execution was particularly cruel. Quote, Smith is not guaranteed a painless death. Having failed to show a substantial likelihood of success on the merits, Smith is not entitled to injunctive relief on his Eighth Amendment claim, the judge wrote. The Associated Press reported Wednesday that a spiritual advisor for Smith decried the decision, saying his horror was an understatement. Quote, the state of Alabama now has permission of a federal court to suffocate its citizens. Look, have you ever driven in morning traffic? Alabama Attorney General Steve Marshall hailed the decision in a statement on Wednesday. Quote, with today's order, Alabama is an important step closer to holding Kenneth Smith accountable for the heinous murder for hire slaying of an innocent woman, Elizabeth Sinnett. Smith has avoided his lawful death sentence for over 35 years, but the court's rejection today of Smith's speculative claims removes an obstacle to finally seeing justice done, Marshall said. The right to appeal the decision remains open to Smith, and if the appeal is allowed to move forward, his execution could be left to the U.S. Supreme Court to decide. you know, it would seem because it's Florida and it's Friday. But it's good, Florida man. A deputy bravely offers to help injured bobcat in Florida and gets an unexpected reaction. Now, if it were me, probably not. Wounded animals are notoriously vicious, so it was with great risk that a sheriff's deputy in Florida picked up an injured bobcat and put it in his patrol car. You know, only in Florida. Again, how many stories have I read to you guys where Florida man finds injured gator on side of road and's like, he gonna be my friend. Look, your officer in this, I was just picking him up. He was lonely, and Cletus is now my friend. Holy giblets. Florida is its own special universe. What happened next left commenters slack-jawed on social media. A photo shared by the Lee County Sheriff's Office shows the predator willingly curled up in Vincent Lopez's arms like a 30-pound house cat. Quote, he was able to get this stunning fur baby to safety and transported him to Blue Pearl Animal Hospital, where he will reportedly make a full recovery, the sheriff's office reported on January 7th Facebook post. Bobcat attacks on humans are rare but have happened. According to the National Institute of Health, they grow to about 30 pounds in Florida and aren't known to tolerate the company of humans. You know what? Maybe I'm a bobcat. Although the 30-pound weight limit is a little bit discouraging against my inclusion in the species. So how did Lopez avoid getting shredded, as one Facebook commenter put it? Due to the bobcat's injuries, the animal was docile and surrendered to the deputy's help, the Lee County Sheriff's Office told McClatchy News in an email. Lopez, who joined the department in 2021, used heavy-duty gloves and a blanket, but was largely vulnerable to the predator's claws and teeth. The photo has gotten more than 43,000 reactions. No, 4,300 reactions on Facebook, with commenters marveling at how calm the bobcat appeared as the deputy carried it to its patrol vehicle. Yeah, but it sprayed the hell out of his car. You know it did. How in the world did the bobcat let him get that close? Lucretia Goodpaster wrote, amazing it's not fighting him, Bonnie Covey said. He's lucky that he's walking away without a scratched up face and body, but that poor baby must be so relaxed, like that he must have been feeling extremely bad. Jonathan Mott posted, it's suspected that the bobcat was struck by a vehicle January 7th near the intersection of Bonita Beach Road and Interstate 75, the sheriff's office said. A nearby resident was the first to report it lying in the road with its back legs appearing to be immobile. The bobcat was transferred to the Clinic for Rehabilitation of Wildlife in Lee County. The clinic staff have not returned messages seeking an update on the wildcat's prognosis as of January 9th. Goodpaster. I don't know. And then it looks like more footage is going to be coming out as the OnlyFans model trial is moving up. So it looks like she was all the crazy all the time. And this poor man just should have run and run far, far away. Volatile and violent. OnlyFans model attacked boyfriend, accused him of cheating months before the fatal stabbing, new video shows. I love how people who are not really involved in the case, Sal, good luck, are just now coming to this information, while people who have, kind of been trolling and mining as we are wont to do, definitely have known this, but people are like, "But she's a girl." And those of us who know, are in the know that women can be just as cray cray as the other. But one real right quick, since we know most of this stuff, I want to talk about how this gentleman is holding said firearm. Would you look at, they've covered it up with text. You numpties, take the text off of here. They're gonna, this man is holding a firearm like this. Just down at its side, no trigger discipline, not one daggone thing. And I know I don't get political on this or anything, but the way this man is holding a firearm kills the hell out of the concealed carry person that I allegedly have no idea I am. Pull up the picture, you freaks of nature. Here we go. What is this? Let me see if I can pull up my draw on page. Y'all, I mean, am I smelling burnt toast? Is this how one carries a firearm? We go to a closer. Okay, now I want to undo you. No, yes. Is this what is going on here? This is in no way how we treat a dangerous instrument. That is not how you carry that. That is not how you do any of this. You have a merce on, you have a bill or a briefcase. No. What is the no? Trying to give me an aneurysm up here. Just all of the craziness. I know, it is. So while I have jumped over here, we'll talk about this. So I did not realize that it was illegal to hire your, lovely friend, your loving friend, and pay for him to go on trips with you. And I know I don't generally get political, but this does tie in with the trial that Nicholas is doing because it does involve Fani Willis. It does involve this man holding a firearm, as you should never hold a firearm, ever. I mean, someone could run it up to you, take that firearm just the way he's not paying attention. He's holding it loosely in his hand. I mean, consider the fact that he and Fani Willis will have charged many, many people with reckless use of a firearm. Right now, anyone, if that drops and shoots someone, if that, if heaven forbid someone, he gets in a fight or something, if that gets out of his control, there is all sorts of shenanigans. That is a dangerous thing. Holy fazolies. Nathan Wade, the special prosecutor leading the Georgia, the case against Orange Man Bad. Wade appeared to be openly carrying a force multiplier. Yeah, open carrying as in ridiculous carrying. Yay! Now, this is the part I just have issues with. Again, you don't carry things like this here. That's my ending point. He could trip on the... Again, it's the hypocrisy that if any other person had been walking around on the street carrying a weapon like this, they would have probably gotten charged or caught a charge, or the police would have hassled them, because you don't do this. So I do get a little irritated when the people that are putting a lot of lawful weapons owners, they want to strip those rights. He's doing shenanigans like this. That's very possible. But they do create holsters. There are things. So there you go. I'm not going to get into all the other things, but that really irritated the ever-living snot bubbles out of me. So there you go. It is Friday. We have a peeing Gary Busey outside, wandering pantsless, probably somewhere in an LA bench near you. So there you are. True that. I hope he does know which way to point, like which end to point out, because that's going to be a real big pointer. I do hope someone at least showed him which end to point out. It's not like a lightsaber. Anyhoozle, I will be sending you guys on to Baker. I know he is on probably day 2. I am going to do a quick video about the jelly roll, at least his opening statement and some of his testimony. I wanted to do some videos about that. I think, he's really grown on me. I think that he is a really good guy, and speaking out about addiction is really powerful. And, he is very honest and very, very raw about it. And as someone who lost someone very close to them to addiction, I think that's something that needs to be, amplified. And look, I have a small channel, but if I can amplify it, it would be great. So I'm going to do that, and then I'll probably pop on with Baker and Jamie. And then remember that tonight we have Gypsy Rose in all of her infamy and glory. Oh goodness, yes, Slinky, I will pray for you guys. Wear coats, wear layers, hot coffee, hot chocolate. Make some chili. Chili is yummy. I'm going to make some chili. There you go. Have a great day, guys. Good weekend. We've only got 50 more weeks to go, and then it's next year.